Did you know that some states will rob you blind just for owning a car? Sounds insane, right? But it's true. Most people think of car ownership as just paying for the vehicle and gas, but what if I told you that in some states, it's like a never-ending tax trap, from sky-high registration fees to jaw-dropping vehicle property taxes? Owning a car in these places can cost you way more than you ever imagined. How much are you really paying to own a car? Is your state secretly bleeding your bank account dry with hidden taxes? And why do some states make car ownership feel like a luxury only for the rich? Stick around because we're about to reveal the 10 worst states for car taxes, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Your wallet will thank you. Maryland. Crab cakes and financial headaches. That's what Maryland offers. While it might entice you with its iconic cuisine and charming landscapes, it's not as hospitable when it comes to car ownership. Maryland's car taxes are enough to make even the most budget-conscious retiree second-guess their decision to drive in this state. The vehicle excise tax alone is a substantial burden for anyone looking to maintain their vehicle ownership here. Unlike other states where a straightforward sales tax covers vehicle purchases, Maryland slaps you with an excise tax that feels more like a sting. It's an upfront tax calculated based on the car's value, which makes even the most modest vehicle seem like a luxury. This excise tax can add thousands of dollars to your initial purchase, and that's just the start. When it comes to registration, Maryland takes full advantage of its reputation as a state that likes to collect fees. High registration fees are the order of the day. These fees, typically higher than those in many surrounding states, apply to both new and used vehicles. Whether you're driving a brand new sports car or a modest sedan, you can expect to pay a hefty sum to get your car on the road legally. The combination of high excise taxes and registration fees creates a financial burden that's hard to ignore, especially when you're trying to live comfortably on a fixed income. Beyond the initial tax costs, other ongoing expenses in Maryland continue to drain your wallet. Gas prices are consistently higher than the national average, and anyone who's driven around the state knows that traffic jams are a common occurrence. Whether you're stuck in the slow-moving traffic of Baltimore or weaving through suburban congestion, the expense of driving quickly adds up. With high fuel prices, toll roads, and car insurance premiums that seem to climb year after year, it feels as though every time you turn the key in the ignition, your bank account takes a hit. Maryland's toll systems can leave you paying fees regularly, even for relatively short trips. And don't even think about parking in urban areas. In cities like Annapolis, parking fees can be so expensive that it feels like you're paying for the privilege of finding a spot. Hawaii might be paradise for tourists, but it's a financial nightmare for anyone looking to own a car in the state. The high registration and licensing fees are just the beginning of the financial burden that comes with living in Hawaii. Unlike other states where registration fees are more modest, Hawaii's fees are sky high, making vehicle ownership a challenge for retirees who may already be struggling to make ends meet. Whether you're purchasing a new car or transferring ownership of a used one, you can expect to pay a significant amount in fees before you even think about hitting the road. The high vehicle excise taxes in Hawaii further exacerbate the situation. These taxes are based on the value of the vehicle, so the more expensive your car, the more you'll be required to pay. For those who have worked hard over the years to save for their retirement, these taxes can quickly diminish what would otherwise be a comfortable income. In addition to the taxes, other costs associated with car ownership in Hawaii are enough to make anyone reconsider. Gas prices are among the highest in the nation thanks to the state's reliance on imported oil. Every trip to the pump feels like a punch to the wallet, and it doesn't help that the state's remote location means that everything from parts to fuel is shipped in at a premium. Add to that the higher than average insurance premiums, and owning a car in Hawaii starts to feel like a luxury you can't afford. The salty air, while great for the beaches, is terrible for your vehicle. Salt water can corrode car exteriors, requiring more frequent maintenance to keep your car in good condition. If you're planning to drive around the islands, be prepared for higher maintenance costs as well, as the coastal environment takes its toll on your vehicle's lifespan. Living comfortably in Hawaii with a car requires an annual income of at least $176,000. This figure accounts for the high cost of living, including housing, utilities, and of course, the expenses associated with owning a car. From registration and insurance to fuel and maintenance, every aspect of car ownership in Hawaii is a financial challenge. For retirees who are trying to stretch their savings, the high costs associated with owning a vehicle in this state might force you to reconsider your plans to drive or even live there at all. California. California's high registration fees and annual taxes on vehicle value are just the beginning of the financial pain that car owners experience in the Golden State. Registration fees are particularly high, and unlike other states that base the cost of registration on a flat fee, California's fees are tied to the value of the vehicle, meaning the more expensive your car, the more you'll pay. For those with luxury or high-end vehicles, these costs can be astronomical. On top of that, the state's high gas taxes ensure that every time you fill up your tank, you're paying more than drivers in most other parts of the country. In addition to the registration and fuel costs, California's car insurance premiums are some of the highest in the nation. Driving on the state's crowded freeways with constant traffic and high accident rates means that insurance companies charge more for coverage. This is especially true if you live in major metropolitan areas like Los Angeles or San Francisco, where traffic is notoriously bad. Not only does this affect your monthly premium, but it also affects your ability to drive without constantly worrying about your insurance costs. Maintenance is another area where car ownership in California can get expensive. The state has stringent environmental regulations, which means that vehicles are subject to emissions testing and must meet higher standards than in many other states. If your car is older or doesn't meet these standards, you might face costly repairs to bring it into compliance. The state's obsession with clean air and the environment, while admirable, means that car owners must often pay the price in terms of both repair costs and higher vehicle taxes. Living comfortably in California while owning a car is no small feat. To manage the costs associated with both car ownership and everyday living, you'll need at least $148,000 annually. This figure takes into account the high cost of living in California, including housing, utilities, food, and transportation costs. For retirees who have worked hard for decades to save up for their golden years, these high car taxes and fees can significantly reduce the amount of disposable income you have left. While California offers many desirable qualities, from its beaches to its cultural landmarks, car ownership here comes at a price that can leave your bank account drained. Oregon. Oregon is often celebrated for its scenic beauty, from the towering Douglas fir trees to the rugged coastline, not to mention the world-class craft beer scene. However, living in Oregon may come with more than just breathtaking views. For car owners, it's a state where the financial cost of driving can quickly add up, making it a place where you'll need deep pockets to maintain your car, let alone enjoy the freedom of the open road. Car ownership in Oregon starts with one of the highest registration fees in the nation. The state is known for its high registration fees, which vary depending on the weight and age of your vehicle. You might think that a smaller vehicle, such as a compact car, would ease the financial burden, but think again. Even for the lightest vehicles, Oregon's registration fees can leave you wondering if your car has earned the privilege of being on the road. This alone can add hundreds of dollars to your annual expenses, and that's just the beginning. If you drive a larger vehicle, such as an SUV or a truck, prepare yourself for even higher fees. On top of that, the state's vehicle excise tax can feel like an additional slap in the face for those who already feel the pinch of high car expenses. But it's not just about registration. Gas taxes in Oregon are among the highest in the country. The state imposes hefty fuel taxes with rates that consistently top the national average. This means that every time you fill up your tank, you're paying a little extra to the state. Though Oregon residents can take solace in not having to deal with sales tax, the burden of high gas taxes quickly becomes evident. For someone who drives frequently, those extra pennies per gallon may seem small, but over time, they add up to significant costs. When it comes to other costs, the tolls and fines for driving in Oregon can also make your wallet feel lighter. Traffic fines in Oregon are not only a deterrent for unsafe driving, but a significant source of revenue for the state. The fines for speeding, running a red light, or parking illegally are steep, making it important to drive carefully and pay attention to signs, especially in urban areas. Parking in cities like Portland is a challenge in itself. Parking spaces can be scarce, and the fees associated with parking in central areas are often prohibitively high. The occasional parking ticket can quickly add up, forcing many drivers to reconsider whether owning a car in Oregon is truly worth it. Insurance premiums are another factor that contributes to the cost of car ownership in Oregon. Though the state has relatively lower insurance rates compared to some of the other states on this list, premiums can still be expensive, especially in larger cities like Portland. The risk of accidents and theft, combined with high costs for vehicle repairs due to unpredictable weather, pushes insurance rates higher. New Jersey. New Jersey, often called the Garden State, is a place of contrast. Known for its diverse communities, rich cultural heritage, and proximity to major cities like New York and Philadelphia, New Jersey offers many benefits to its residents. However, when it comes to car taxes, the state is notorious for gouging vehicle owners with some of the highest costs in the country. From sky-high registration fees to astronomical tolls, owning a car in New Jersey feels more like a luxury experience than a necessity. New Jersey boasts the highest vehicle registration fees in the nation, a distinction that makes the cost of owning a car in the state an uphill battle. The state's registration fees can be shockingly high, with the average fee for a standard passenger vehicle pushing well past the national average. Those who own larger vehicles, such as trucks or SUVs, face even higher fees, making it a struggle for retirees and families to keep their vehicles registered without constantly worrying about how to afford it. Add to this the state's vehicle property tax, which is another tax on your car's value that feels like a constant drain on your wallet. But registration fees are just one part of the equation. New Jersey also imposes state sales tax on vehicle purchases, further escalating the cost of owning a car. Although the sales tax rate might seem standard at first glance, it can add up to thousands of dollars on a new vehicle purchase. For retirees or families on fixed incomes, this extra tax burden can quickly take a significant portion out of savings, forcing many to rethink their car buying decisions. Even used cars aren't exempt from this tax, meaning that no matter the age of the vehicle, you'll be required to pay a hefty sum when it comes to purchasing a new or used car in New Jersey. Road tolls are another massive cost for drivers in New Jersey. Tolls are a fact of life for many in the state, especially for those who need to commute to New York City or Philadelphia. The cost of using the state's toll roads quickly adds up, especially if you're using the roads frequently. The Turnpike, Garden State Parkway, and other toll routes are essential for commuting, but come at a high price, making it feel like the state has its hands in your pocket every time you drive. For frequent travelers, the cost of these tolls can easily surpass the cost of vehicle maintenance and insurance combined. In addition to tolls and taxes, car insurance is another expense that makes owning a car in New Jersey feel like a financial burden. With one of the highest car insurance premiums in the country, residents of New Jersey have to pay more to insure their vehicles than most other states. The high premiums are a result of the state's dense population, high risk of accidents, and high rates of vehicle theft in certain areas. Even drivers with clean records can find themselves paying sky-high premiums just to keep their cars on the road, and if you live in an urban area, these rates may increase substantially. Alaska. Alaska is known for its untamed wilderness, rugged landscapes, and extreme weather conditions. From the icy waters of the Bering Sea to the towering peaks of the Alaskan Range, this state offers unparalleled natural beauty. However, when it comes to car ownership, Alaska is a place where the costs can make even the most seasoned drivers reconsider their plans. From high registration fees to soaring insurance premiums, owning a car in Alaska is a financial commitment that requires careful consideration. Expenses car owners in Alaska face is the state's high registration fees. While the state doesn't have a state income tax, it more than makes up for this by charging hefty registration fees on vehicles. These fees vary depending on the type and age of the vehicle, but they are generally much higher than what you would pay in other states. For many Alaskans, the cost of keeping their car registered year after year can quickly become overwhelming, especially for families or retirees living on fixed incomes. In addition to registration fees, Alaska also imposes high insurance premiums on vehicles. The state's harsh weather conditions, including icy roads and extreme cold temperatures, contribute to higher insurance rates. Drivers in Alaska must also contend with the increased risk of accidents and vehicle damage due to hazardous driving conditions. Snow tires and frequent repairs are a necessity, driving up the overall cost of car ownership. As a result, insurance premiums in Alaska are often higher than the national average, leaving residents with little choice but to pay the premiums if they want to keep their vehicles on the road. Gas prices in Alaska are another cost that drivers must contend with. Although Alaska is an oil-producing state, gas prices are still relatively high compared to other regions. The cost of transporting fuel to remote areas, combined with the challenges of maintaining fuel infrastructure in such an isolated state, contributes to higher gas prices. For residents who rely on their vehicles for daily commutes or long-distance travel, these high fuel costs can quickly add up, further increasing the cost of owning a car in Alaska. Connecticut. Connecticut, often associated with luxurious hedge funds, opulent yachts, and scenic coastal views, is also home to some of the most expensive car taxes in the country. For retirees hoping to enjoy their golden years with a peaceful drive along the coastline, Connecticut may offer stunning scenery, but it also presents a substantial financial burden when it comes to owning a car. The state's car taxes can drain your savings quickly, making it essential for potential residents to be prepared for the costs that come with owning a vehicle here. Car taxes in Connecticut are steep, with high property taxes on vehicles and a sales tax on vehicle purchases that can make the experience of buying and owning a car feel like an expensive gamble. The state's vehicle excise tax is calculated based on the value of the vehicle, which can increase significantly as the car's value decreases over time. In addition to the excise tax, Connecticut also imposes sales tax on the purchase of vehicles, which adds another layer of cost to the process. This makes it financially challenging for retirees on a fixed income, as the costs associated with owning a car can quickly spiral out of control. Beyond the direct car taxes, the other costs of car ownership in Connecticut are also significant. Vehicle maintenance can be expensive, especially for those living in areas where weather conditions can be harsh during the winter months. Snow, salt, and ice can cause significant wear and tear on a vehicle, leading to costly repairs and maintenance. Additionally, the state's insurance premiums are among the highest in the nation, meaning that car owners can expect to pay a premium for coverage. With the combination of high insurance costs, expensive maintenance, and steep taxes, it becomes clear that Connecticut is a state where car ownership can quickly become a financial strain. For those looking to retire and live comfortably in Connecticut, it's important to understand that owning a car will add a significant cost to your budget. Retirees who want to live without financial stress should plan on spending a substantial amount on their vehicle each year. The overall cost of living in Connecticut is already high, and owning a car only adds to the burden. Retirees should expect to allocate a considerable portion of their retirement income to car taxes, insurance, and maintenance to ensure they are financially comfortable. Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a state that proudly boasts its rich history, vibrant culture, and famous seafood, particularly its clam chowder. But behind its charming exterior, Massachusetts hides some of the highest car taxes in the country. Car taxes in this state are a major financial burden for retirees, and they can significantly impact the overall cost of living. The state's high sales tax, expensive registration fees, and property tax on vehicles make Massachusetts one of the worst states for car ownership, especially for those on a fixed income. The state's sales tax on vehicle purchases can add up quickly, especially when combined with the hefty registration fees that car owners must pay each year. Massachusetts also imposes a property tax on vehicles, which means that car owners are essentially taxed twice on their vehicles. This combination of taxes can make owning a car in Massachusetts a costly endeavor, and for retirees, it can quickly eat away at the funds that were meant to support a comfortable lifestyle. With these high taxes, retirees should expect to spend a significant portion of their budget just to keep their vehicles on the road. Beyond the direct car taxes, there are other costs associated with owning a car in Massachusetts that can further strain your budget. Gas taxes are among the highest in the nation, meaning that filling up your car's tank can quickly become an expensive task. Insurance premiums in the state are also high, and the cost of driving in Boston, with its traffic congestion and limited parking, can make owning a car feel like more of a headache than a convenience. Parking in cities like Boston is notoriously expensive, and finding a spot near popular areas like Fenway Park can cost more than the price of tickets to a Red Sox game. Living comfortably in Massachusetts with a car means budgeting for high taxes, expensive fuel, costly insurance premiums, and parking fees. For retirees, this could mean that the dream of taking a leisurely drive along the coast or through the state's picturesque countryside may not be as financially feasible as it first seems. Illinois. Illinois, known for its iconic Chicago skyline, deep dish pizza, and rich cultural history, may seem like a great place to retire, but when it comes to car taxes, this state is a trap waiting to catch retirees off guard. Car ownership in Illinois comes with a slew of taxes and fees that can drain your savings before you even get on the road. From high sales taxes on vehicle purchases to steep registration fees and emissions testing fees, Illinois is a state that hits car owners hard. The state's high sales tax on vehicle purchases makes buying a car in Illinois a costly affair. When combined with steep registration fees, it becomes clear that owning a vehicle in this state is an expensive proposition. The registration fees in Illinois are not only high, but are also subject to change, meaning that retirees can expect to pay even more in future years. In addition to these taxes and fees, Illinois also requires emissions testing for many vehicles, which adds yet another cost to car ownership. These fees can quickly add up, making it difficult for retirees on a fixed income to keep their cars on the road. Beyond the taxes and registration fees, other costs associated with car ownership in Illinois can quickly drain your wallet. Parking fees, especially in cities like Chicago, are notoriously high, and finding a spot can be a nightmare. Additionally, road tolls are common, adding to the already high costs of owning and operating a car in Illinois. Traffic fines are also hefty, and even small infractions can result in significant penalties. The combination of high sales taxes, steep registration fees, emissions testing fees, parking costs, tolls, and traffic fines makes Illinois one of the worst states for car owners. Vermont, known for its charming barns, snow-covered hills, and beautiful fall foliage, may seem like an idyllic place to retire. However, behind the scenic views and rural charm, the state has one of the most budget-busting vehicle tax systems in the country. Car ownership in Vermont comes with high registration fees, property taxes on vehicles, and annual tax increases based on the vehicle's value. This combination of taxes can quickly add up, making Vermont one of the most expensive states for car ownership. The high registration fees in Vermont are just the beginning. Property taxes on vehicles are another significant cost that car owners in the state must contend with. These taxes are based on the value of the vehicle, meaning that the more expensive the car, the higher the tax. Furthermore, Vermont imposes annual tax increases on vehicle value, meaning that the cost of owning a car increases every year, even if the car's value is decreasing. This creates a financial strain for retirees who are already trying to live on a fixed income. In addition to the taxes, Vermont also has high gas prices, which make fueling your vehicle a costly endeavor. The state's remote location and harsh winter conditions also lead to higher maintenance costs for vehicles, as snow and salt can cause significant damage to a car over time. With limited public transportation options in rural areas, car ownership becomes essential for getting around, but it also comes with significant expenses that can drain a retiree's savings. Now that you know which states are draining your wallet with car taxes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more insider tips.